Ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your seats because you're about to get really dramatic and really confused. Like extremely confused. We're gonna start off with Othello. Basically, to get the main-ish characters down, there's Iago, Othello, Desdemona, and Emilia. That's like the main people that we'll be dealing with here. So there's Iago. He's an extremely jealous, extremely just cruel, malicious, nobody likes the guy dude. The only person who kind of like takes his side ever is Emilia, and it's just because she's his wife, so she kind of feels obligated to, but she sees clearly towards the end, and it makes everything better. And Iago really hates Othello because Iago really wanted to be lieutenant, and he thought he was gonna be lieutenant, and then here comes Othello and takes his spot, and he's all, oh my god, I despise you. His first plan is to try to get Othello in trouble for wooing Desdemona, and so he goes to Desdemona's dad and he's like, your daughter is marrying a Moor. What are you gonna do about it? He tells Desdemona's dad and he's like, that can't be true. Why would she do that? And so they go and they track down Desdemona, and she is indeed with Othello, and they're like, yeah, we got married. Whoa, don't be mad, Dad. Just so happens that day, Othello was gonna go talk to the Duke because of lieutenant things. And Desdemona's dad was like, I'm gonna go with you, and I'm gonna tell the Duke that you wooed my daughter with witchcraft, because that's the only possible explanation to this. So he tells the Duke, and the Duke's like, what does Othello have to say? So then Othello explains to him he's with Desdemona because he wooed her with his mystical stories from war, because he's a war hero and he's got some pretty neat stories. But of course the Duke believes Othello because Othello is very well respected. So fast forward, Iago's next plan, get Othello to think Desdemona is cheating on him with none other than Michael Cassio. So Iago starts this whole idea of the cheating by telling Othello that he heard Cassio talking in his sleep about how he loves Desdemona and, oh sweet Desdemona, oh sweet creature, blah 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 blah. And so Iago's telling Othello this and he's like, that can't be true. How? No. And Iago's like, yeah, but doesn't your wife have this handkerchief thing with like strawberries on it? And Othello's like, yeah, it's the first gift I ever gave her. And then Iago's like, yeah, I saw Cassio wiping his beard with it. Whoa! And so Othello's like, that can't be true. Does he really have my handkerchief? And he's like, yes, he does have your handkerchief. Go look. So Othello goes to Cassio's house, and what does he find? The handkerchief. You wanna know how he got the handkerchief? None other than Iago planted it there. How did Iago get the handkerchief? I'll explain. So basically, there's Desdemona. She was sad, so she was using her handkerchief to wipe her tears, and she dropped it. It just fell. And Emilia, even though she's such a loyal friend, she's also a loyal wife, and she knows that Iago wants his handkerchief, so she sees it, she picks it up, and she gave it to Iago, and then the whole plan sprouted from there. Othello now thinks that he has like stone cold proof that his wife is cheating on him, and so he's just an angry man. So much so, Othello hit Desdemona when he was pretty angry. Desdemona is really sad about this, and she's sitting in a room and she's crying, and Emilia comes out and she's like, hey man, are you okay? And then they're just having, it's just girl talk really. And then Emilia has one of the most female empowering monologues out there, where she basically says, you know, how come they get to cheat on us, but we don't get to cheat on them? And then if we do, we're like shameful. She says word for word, let husbands know their wives have sense like them. They see and smell and have their palates for both sweet and sour, as husbands have. She then goes on to say, do we not have affections, desires for sport, and frailty as men have? Then let them use us well, else let them know the ills we do, their ills instruct us so. Basically saying, I mean, if we cheat on them, it's probably their fault. So this whole little monologue made Desdemona feel a little bit better, but she's still, you know, pretty sad. At this point, Othello is still 100% certain that Desdemona is cheating on him, and he's about to kill her for it. Like literally, he's about to smother her with a pillow. He says basically that he doesn't want to like stab her or harm her beautiful skin in any way, but he will smother her. That's the best option. But before he kills her, she wakes up. So he asks her if she's done her prayers yet. She's like, I sure have, that's why I'm in bed. And then he's like, do you have any confessions you want to make? Instead of like being sneaky about it, he's like, well, just like hurry up and make all your confessions so then I can get this over with and kill you. And she's like, what, my lord, did you just say to me? And so she's like, you're talking like you're gonna kill me? And he's just like, yes, I am. He literally says, I do. So now she knows he's gonna kill her, and I guess she's okay with it. They kind of like bicker back and forth for a little bit, and then she's like, wait, kill me tomorrow. Just like, kill me tomorrow. Ask Cassio about it. I promise you I didn't cheat on you with Cassio. And he's like, too late, smother. And then he smothers her, and now she's dead. And then here comes Amelia to the door, and she's like, what's going on in here? She comes in, and she's like, oh my God, did you just kill her? And he's like, yes, I did. Just kill her. Because your husband told me she cheated on me. And she's like, my husband? You listened to my husband? This is what just happened here? My husband told you this and you believed him. Okay. Good job, Othello. You're really smart. Just like I'm super smart for giving him the handkerchief in the first place. So though Amelia was a very loyal wife, she was also a very loyal friend. And now that her friend has been slaughtered, she sees whose side she should have taken. And she totally rats out Iago, and Othello is like, shut up. No. And she basically gets the truth across, and Iago is like, you stupid woman, how dare you do this? I'm your husband, you're supposed to bow down to me. So Amelia finally gets through to Othello, and Othello's like, oh my God, what have I done? I just killed my wife, and it's your fault, Iago. So he goes to run to Iago to kill him. He's a little too late, because right before he can kill Iago, Iago kills Amelia. Super sad moment. Amelia has been slain, and it's just tragic. So they lie Amelia down next to Desdemona, and they are dead together, best friends in life and in death, apparently. And then after everything that has happened, the guilt is just so large that Othello cannot bear it anymore, and he kills himself right next to Desdemona, and he lies next to her, and they're all just dead together. Iago's still alive, but they take him off to live in torture forever. He's not dead, they're not executing him, he's just gonna be tortured for a really long time. So now that they know Iago is a horrible person, he obviously shouldn't be lieutenant. Othello's dead, so he can't be lieutenant, so who else can be lieutenant other than Michael Cassio? And that's pretty much how the play ends. Cassio's now in charge, he sends Iago off to be tortured forever, and they all, well, Cassio lived happily ever after. Hi, my name's Dromio of EPHESUS, and I'm Dromio of Syracuse. We're both named Dromio. It's pretty odd if you ask me. So basically, we were on a ship with another set of twins. We were the poorer of the twins, which unfortunately is sad. And the parents were like, okay, I'll take one of each of the twins and you take the other each of the twins. And they were like, okay, sounds great, because apparently they couldn't all fit on one raft because it was too heavy, so they parted ways. And yeah, I went with my mother to EPHESUS, and I went with my father to Syracuse. True dat. So both of us grew up apart from each other, so very sad, with one of the Antipholus brothers. Both of us being servants to those Antipholus brothers. I know. Very sad and unfortunate because nobody asked for this. So Antipholus and I, after about 18 years of living life, we decided we wanted to go find our brothers because, you know, they're our brothers and we wanted to say hi and yeah, which is pretty fine. Except for the fact that you can go pretty much anywhere else, but you're not allowed to come to EPHESUS. Now are you, Dromio of Syracuse? No, I am not. Yeah. You wanna explain why? Or? Yeah, you see there's this travel ban. So if you're born in EPHESUS, you stay in EPHESUS. And if you're born in Syracuse, you stay in Syracuse. Yeah, and who broke that rule, buddy? I broke that rule. You guys did. I get it. I wonder so did Antipholus. Why there were so many errors. So these guys, they came to my town and messed everything up. And I'm gonna share the first little incident where that happened without you in the frame. Okay. Yeah, thanks for leaving, pal. So basically, those guys were here his Antipholus sends him off to go get some money to pay for the hotel that they're staying in. And then here comes me, because I'm looking for Antipholus, and I think I find Antipholus, but it's the wrong Antipholus. So I find him, and I'm like, hey buddy, time to go, dinner's ready, and your wife's waiting for you. And he's like, I don't have a wife, where's the gold? And I was like, gold. What gold, pal? Let's go. You're funny, let's go to your wife. And he's like, you're funny, I don't have a wife, where's my gold? And I was like, your pork. And he was like, my gold. And I was like, your wife. And he was like, my gold. And I was like, your wife and pork are waiting. And he was like, I don't have a wife and there is no pork waiting for me. And I was so frustrated, and he thought I was just playing with him. And I was like, listen, man, I'm not messing with you. Your pork is burning right now and you need to come. This part kind of crushes my soul. But he was like, listen, buddy, I know that we've grown up together, but you're not my friend. I know sometimes I'm nice to you, but that doesn't mean that you can joke around with me whenever you want. Like when I'm not in the mood, I'm not in the mood. And then he hit me, as he usually does. And so I was like, you know what? Fine. And so I went, I told his wife all about what happened, and she was like, what? How can that be true? Why is he lashing out this way? That man, he probably doesn't want to come home because he's cheating on me. And I was like, whoa. And then her sister was like, listen, honey, you don't have to be so angry at him. After all, he is the man of the house and you have to obey him. Duh. She just went on this whole spiel about how men are better than women and stuff, pretty much. And so I guess that calmed down Adriana. His wife's name is Adriana, by the way. Forgot to say that. But yeah, so Luciana, her sister, calms her down and she's like, yo, he's just doing boy things. And she was like, okay, whatever. So fast forward. Here comes Antipholus of Syracuse into our home, and he starts eating dinner with my master's wife because she thinks that it's her husband, but it's truly not her husband. It's the wrong man. I finally find my Antipholus, and so we go home, and we finally get there, and we're banging on the door, but she won't open the door because she thinks she's already eating with her husband, so she thinks we're just some peasants or something. So she's like, go home, get out of here, you buffoons. And so this is making Antipholus very angry. I had to talk the man down big time. He was ready to bust the door down, but I was like, dude, if you bust the door down, you're going to ruin your reputation. And he was like, I guess so. So then we walked away, cool, calm, and collected. Everything was fine. Yes. Mr. Other Dromio.
Yeah.
Would you like to come and share with the class what happened next?
Oh,
Yeah?
I
Good.
suppose I could do that.
Yep. Yep. Hi. So basically, this jeweler came up to my master and he was like, hey buddy, here's the necklace that you had me make you. And so my master was like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. I'm just gonna go with it and take it. Thanks, brother. And so he took it and he put it on his neck, blah, 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 fun stuff. So he gives my master this necklace and he's like, how about this? Pay me at dinner. And Antipholus was like, actually you might want to take the money now or you'll never see the money or the necklace ever again. And he was like, you're funny. Pay me at dinner. Goodbye. So they go their separate ways. Plot twist, this is where it gets fishy. The jeweler, his name is Angelo, by the way. Don't know if I said that. But the jeweler needed money pronto because he had some other merchant that he needed to pay because he owed him money. And so the merchant shows up to the jewelers and he's like, hey, I need the money. I have this officer here. So if you don't give me the money, you're going to be arrested. And the jeweler was like, you know what? This guy Antipholus owes me the exact same amount that I owe you. So I'm going to go to Antipholus right now and I'm going to get that money and then I'll be back and I'll pay you. Everything's solved. But he glanced up and there, across the area, was Antipholus of EPHESUS, the one who did not receive the necklace. Yikes. So he's like, hey, Antipholus, come on over. And so Antipholus comes over and he's like, hey, you got my necklace? And he was like, yeah, you have the necklace. I need you actually to pay me now. And Antipholus was like, I'll pay you as soon as you give me the necklace. And he was like, I already did. I already gave you their necklace. And Antipholus was like, just give the necklace to my wife and tell her to pay you. And the jeweler was like, stop playing games with me, man. Either give your wife the necklace and tell her to pay me, or give me the necklace and I will go to your wife and get the money myself. So basically, since the merchant never got what he was owed to, and the jeweler never got what he was owed to, they kind of all blamed it on Antipholus, and Antipholus was said to be arrested. Now, prior to this, my master had sent me off to get news on when ships are sailing because my master really wanted out of there. So I come back to tell my master about when the ships are leaving, but instead of coming to my master, I end up going to Antipholus of EPHESUS, the man who's currently being arrested. And I was like, hey, so the ships, the port, it's leaving at whatever time. He was like, what are you talking about? What ship? Earlier I sent you off for rope, because earlier he sent me off for rope for some reason. And I was like, no, you sent me off to get information on ships. So there's a dilemma there. So in all the confusion, he was like, you know what? I don't care. Just go to my wife and get the money I need for bail. So I was kind of confused, but I was like, okay, earlier Adriana was calling herself your wife. So that means I should go to the place where we had lunch earlier. So I went there and I got the money, blah, 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 blah. So I go get the money and I come back, and who do I find? My actual master. So I was like, what up, buddy? Here's your bail money. Did you get rid of those guards already? And of course Antipholus, because he's not the one who got arrested, he was like, what are you talking about? I sent you for ships, not a what? And so he was thoroughly confused, and there was all that, and it was just, can you come talk now? Thank you. Yeah, sure, whatever. So Antipholus of EPHESUS is currently in jail, and in comes the jeweler, a woman whom he stole a ring from, a couple of things, and they were all just blabbering on about stories, and he was like, that did not happen. People were saying that he did one thing that he didn't do, and he was saying somebody else did something, and they were like, that didn't happen, and it was just a lot of confusion. And then, once again, they were accused of witchcraft, and they were like, he's possessed. He's got to be possessed right now. And then here comes me, like an idiot, with the rope that he sent me for earlier to beat myself with. That's literally what he did. He sent me to get rope to beat myself. And so I come in, and I'm like, here's your rope, sir. And he's like, oh, thank you. And then he beat me with it, and it hurt really bad. He sends the other Dromio off with 500 ducats to get bail money. And I come back with a piece of rope. And I was like, here's your rope. And he was like, that's cool. Where's the money? And I was like, I spent the money on the rope. And he was like, you spent 500 ducats on a rope. And I was like, with 500 ducats, I could have got 500 pieces of rope. So no, I did not do that. And he was like, then where's my money? And so his wife comes in, and she's got this guy named Pinch, and he's like I don't know. He basically said that we were all possessed. So they tried to tie up me and Antipholus. And then here comes me and my master with our swords drawn because it's so chaotic. So they think that the people that they just tied up and threw out over there have broken free and have ran off. And so they chase us away, and we go and hide in an abbey. So here comes this old man from Syracuse who's about to be hanged because he's in EPHESUS and he's not supposed to be. Also, here comes Dromio and Antipholus of EPHESUS just strolling on in. The old man is like, do you guys remember me? And they were like, no, because this old man just so happens to be Dromio and Antipholus of Syracuse's father. And he thinks he's talking to Dromio and Antipholus of Syracuse, but he's talking to the wrong ones. So he's like, you guys have only been gone for a few years. How do you already not remember me? Did I age that badly? And they were like, we literally don't know who you are. So out comes the woman in charge of the abbey, and she recognizes the old man, and the old man recognizes her. Turns out it was our mother and our father. And then get this, we leave the abbey and we come out, and there is Dromio and Antipholus of EPHESUS. And we're like, brother. And it was a fun, happy, good old time ending.